Okay, today's DM mistakes. I'm not going to use models. I'm actually in the middle of painting up some scenery for an upcoming game. So today I want to talk about something that really annoys me as a player. That's when, if I'm playing a character with a skill, I have to roll that skill when it isn't reasonable to do so. I have a friend who jokes that players didn't start falling off of their horses until they got the ride skill. And it's true, they didn't. It's entirely reasonable for a player to be able to ride a horse in that kind of a world setting. So what I think a lot of GMs are doing wrong is they're deciding whether to make rolls based on whether a character has skills. And I'll give you a prime example of that, and I think it was a situation that happened to me this year, and, or actually last year now, because we've just gone past New Year, and it actually really annoyed me, because in this situation, I was playing a rogue, and I was playing with someone who was playing a warrior, and it was a first edition game, and I had the listen skill, because first edition rogue has listen skill. So I tried to listen at the door to use my exceptional hearing skill, just to see if I could hear anything. And the GM said make a roll, so I did, and I couldn't hear a thing. I heard nothing. Then the warrior, spotting that I'd failed, which is a metagaming thing that really annoys me. It's like when the rogue goes into a room and fails find traps, all of a sudden the party's careful of traps. If they succeed at find traps and find nothing, they don't care. Whereas in the fantasy, it would be the same thing. The rogue says I can't find traps. The fact that they succeeded on the roll shouldn't influence the role-playing. But anyway, in this situation, on seeing that I'd failed my roll, the warrior said, well, I'd like to listen. So the GM allowed it, and it didn't have a listen skill. Warriors don't in first edition. But the GM decreed that it was reasonable for somebody listening at the door to hear that there were voices the other side, even imparting the tone and emotions of the people talking, even though we couldn't get the words. This really annoyed me. I'm a rogue, I'm supposed to have exceptional hearing. And the reason it came about is because the GM was rolling based off the skills, rather than saying, does this situation warrant a roll? Because obviously it shouldn't have. The warrior didn't need to make a roll. Why did I, with my exceptional listen skill, why did I fail? Because I'm better at hearing than a warrior who has no skill in it. That annoyed me, and it happens so often in so many situations. And I recall one campaign I ran where I think I got it right. It was a science fiction campaign. We were using Rollmaster, you know, the game where no one likes to level up. And the situation was that somebody was playing a pilot and had a spaceship, and he went to take off his spaceship and he said, shall I roll? And I said, what for? You're a pilot, of course you can fly a spaceship. You're not going to not be able to do it all of a sudden. He says, okay, why have I got pilot skill? It's a fair question. I says, you might need it later. And sure enough, later on, one of the characters is riding a motorbike and he's flying a spaceship, and the character on the motorbike wanted to get onto the spaceship. So what he wanted to do was to fly low and level so that the character on the motorbike could ride onto the cargo hatch and get on board the spaceship. A dangerous stunt, but you know, the heroes, they should be entitled to a chance at something like this. So I figured, well, the first thing that needs is the pilot to fly straight and level. So now it's time for your piloting roll. And when he succeeded at that, I made the character roll on the motorbike to say, can you nail it? You know, can you pull this off? Can you stop in time? And she just failed. So I allowed her to get on board, but she crashed. You know, a little bit of hurt pride and the motorbike was damaged. That's when to use rolls. Not when something, you know, a character has a skill, so make them roll it. No, that's not the point. Skills are for when you're exceptional at something, but as a GM, you first got to ask the question, does this situation warrant a roll?